So we're continuing a series of lectures on understanding world religions, and especially as a Christian, looking at some ways that we can respond to those world religions. So we're going to start today with looking at a definition of religion. The word religion in English, and actually in Slavic languages, religia, comes from the Latin word which means to bind or to tie. And the meaning is to tie to the gods or to connect with a higher power. One of the books that we use in the course in Kiev is Dean Halverson's book, The Compact Guide to World Religions. And he puts his definition for religion is this. It's a set of beliefs that answers the ultimate questions. And he goes on to list what are those ultimate questions. What is ultimate? What is the nature of the world? Following up on that as well, then what's the nature of humanity? And then what is humanity's primary problem? And then in addition, he asks a question that I think most of us are interested in. What happens after death? Then we'll look a little bit later at the definition of worldview, and we'll try to use that definition then to describe different religions as well. But I want to go back to this definition of religion and try to, I guess this is my really basic idea of what religion is. It's a belief in something, or maybe a belief in nothing, but it's a belief in something. And this belief is not necessarily substantiated by physical or material evidence. That can be important, of course, for many of us as we look for some kind of proof that our religion is true, or it's the right one, the correct one, or at least that we're on the right path. But physical material evidence are not the only types of evidence that people think of when they think about what they believe in. Religious knowledge really, in fact, is obtained through four sources. The first would be, for many religions, perhaps not all, but holy writings. For a Christian, this would be the Bible. For a Muslim, this would be the Quran. And of course, then other religions have their holy writings as well. Then there would be the kind of general description of authority. And this might be tradition. It might be what certain prophets have said, which sometimes is written down, sometimes it's passed on orally. It might be what an organization says, and perhaps the best example for that would be the Roman Catholic Church and its teaching magisterium, as it says what you are supposed to believe. Also, though, we would have some kind of divine revelations that frequently appear in different religions. And then, of course, sometimes they also become part then of the holy writings or part of the authoritative tradition, but not always. Sometimes these revelations may happen right here, right now. And that carries us then into the last source, and that would be religious experiences, which also then, these four sources, and of course there's overlap between every single one of them, but attempting to describe what are the sources for religious knowledge. And religious believers then have faith in this kind of knowledge. They trust it. They believe in it. They believe that what they are reading or hearing or experiencing is true, is something that matters to them, connects them with something outside of themselves. And so again, going back to Cordovan, his definition is that a religion is a system of beliefs and practices that provides values to give life meaning and coherence by directing a person toward transcendence. And so you can see several parts of that there. The beliefs and the practices with the religious experiences, and giving life meaning, but also the connection with something or someone transcendent. And then there's a fairly common understanding of religion that you can find in the works of Rudolf Otto or Mircea Eliade and others, of course, that religion is really as hard to define as art. And they look at religion as a subjective experience. And we'll look at that also in a lecture coming up soon, the subjective source of religion. In other words, that religion means something different to every person. But one thing that they do indicate is that religion always deals with an experiential encounter with the holy. However, we understand that holy, whatever somebody might think of as holy, and whether that is subjective or it's from outside of themselves, in other words, transcendent, also would be another question. Then Hans Kuhn has kind of an extended definition of religion, and I'm giving this lecture actually just 2 days after this great Catholic theologian passed away, so I thought it was very appropriate as well to share his description of religion. Religion is a social and individual relationship vitally realized in a tradition and community through doctrine, ethos, and generally ritual as well, with something that transcends or encompasses man and his world, with something always to be understood as the utterly final, true reality, the absolute, God, or nirvana. In contrast to philosophy, religion is concerned at once with a message of salvation and the way to salvation. Finally, religion provides a comprehensive meaning for life, guarantees supreme values and unconditional norms, creates a spiritual community and home. And for him, it was important also as understanding his writings. The whole idea of spiritual community was an important factor for him also as he described the church. But he focuses as well on life practice, on transcendence, and on community as some of the things that unite everyone around the world in how they understand religion. So I'm going to close then with a question for you. How would you define religion? Which one of these definitions most resonates with you, or would you have a different definition entirely?